If that's what you found, then you're using the internet wrong. Now, back to the show.
It's Rock 100.5. Thanks for listening. I hope you're having a good one. Jason Bailey there, Southside Steve, our good friend with Oxygen Financial. Ted Jenkin in studio. Five biggest mistakes new entrepreneurs make. Those are people that are looking for that extra bump in salary and might take a second project on, trying to make some money, and most of us fail. And when I say us, I'm talking about the people in the room.
Yeah, you mean like being on a morning show and then owning a bar when you have to be at work early in the morning?
Something like that.
Yeah.
And you trust others to run your business and they rob from you?
It's a great conversation to have, because everybody should and look to have a second form of income if you can. So when you get to the level of maybe having a couple extra dollars or knowing somebody that's going to invest in your idea, and you just be the creative side of it, how do you get to that? How do you get to that part of it?
Yeah, well, most business owners start out with Shrimp Tank, not Shark Tank.
Right,
So,
sure.
It's a few $1,000s. But, everyone dreams about it. A lot of people are employees for companies, and they say, I just want to have my own business one day so I can get out of this employee world. And a lot of times you get business owners that once they own a business for a while, they eventually say, boy, I don't want the hassle of making payroll. I'd like to go back to have somebody else take care of it.
Right.
But we see today, especially in Atlanta, there are a lot of people that are transitioning out of their jobs and starting a business. And unfortunately, Jason, a good 8 or 9 out of 10 of these businesses don't make it. They don't really ever get off the ground because people make some basic mistakes when they get into being an entrepreneur.
All right, like such as?
Well, the first one, biggest mistake that I see a lot is that people have no marketing plan. They got this great idea, I got a great product, a widget, or I got a great service I think I'm going to offer, but they haven't budgeted any money or built any strategy to figure out how to get customers. And the bottom line is, if you have the best product or the best service in the world, but you've got no customers that want to buy it, you can't make any money.
And the easiest form of marketing and branding whatever it is that you're doing is, of course, the internet and social media.
Well, therein lies the important adjective, which is the word easy, right? Everyone thinks that marketing and getting customers is easy, but it's not. But with the internet, if you do a good job with social media, there are a lot of things you can do for free, or you can take some cheap ads for free on the internet.
You got to remember the pet rock.
Well, the pet rock was grassroots. There's a guy.
That's only next to sea monkeys.
Oh, let me tell you.
These are all things are just nuts.
There's a guy now. I had the story for today. There's a guy now that is making $10,000 a month with these things called potato parcels. And he takes a pen and he writes a message on a potato. A potato, the thing that you make mashed potatoes with, a potato.
So far, I understand.
And people sign up for these parcel potatoes. He's making $10,000 a month off of this idea.
Positive messages on a potato.
Anything you want. You tell him what to write, and you write it.
Does he have a really good handwriting?
I know. It's just a pen on a potato, dude. That's all it is.
Therein lies the classic thing, right? You can have a product that's actually not so good. Let's say it's a C product or a B product, but if you have great marketing and you actually have pretty good customer service, you can still make a lot of money. You don't have to have the best product in the world. Look at all the hamburger places, and not all of them are the greatest, but a lot of them still make a lot of money.
And those that have these businesses are trying to brand themselves, and they think, oh, well, if I'm on Facebook or if I'm on Twitter, I just post a lot. That's not true. There's actually a method behind the madness. It's the method. It's the theory of thirds. And if you Google it, if you have a business, a small business, make sure you understand that there is the theory of thirds when you post to social media. You have a third of the entertainment value, a third of the business value, and a third of the personal value. There's thirds. So when you post, make sure you bring them into your life a little bit. You talk a little business, but don't oversell. And then you entertain them with world news that pertains to your brand and your product.
Yeah, well, people forget that it's social media, right? It's not whatever your product's media.
Right.
And I'm in financial services. It's not financial media. You have to pick social topics that people want to debate about. That's the idea of getting out on social media. And it can work if you do it right in a very cost-effective way.
All right, what's the second one?
Look, one of the biggest mistakes that I see by far, Jason, is that business owners undercapitalize. And very simply what that means is they don't have enough money in the bank, or they don't have lines of credit to get the business going, and they run out of money.
Yeah.
And people will say, no, it's only going to take me $10,000 to start the business. No, it won't. Whatever you think it's going to cost you to start the business, it's going to cost double or triple.
I'd say triple.
triple, right?
Yeah.
So you think it's going to cost you 50 grand. It's probably going to be 150, and it's going to take you an extra 6 to 12 months to make profit. No matter what your pro formas say, no matter what the numbers say, it's going to take you longer to make profit. It's a huge mistake people make.
Yeah, and when you look in those magazines or online, you're like, hey, I want to buy a business. I want to buy a bungo box business, which I brag about all the time because it's a really cool company. Or I want to buy, some of these smaller businesses that says, oh, it only costs $50,000 to upstart.
Right.
No.
Like a Chipotle or a Dunkin' Donuts.
Which theirs would cost, about $500,000, but it's going to cost about $1 million to get in.
I'd love to own a Chipotle.
You can always take out little tiny classified ads and make money that way.
You're buying the franchise, you're buying the name, and then you're buying the equipment. That doesn't include the brick and mortar.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't include any of that stuff. That's your
and
startup.
The fees.
That's your startup.
Fees, yeah.
Startup cost. All right, what's the third one?
All right, the third one in here, Jason, this is for a lot of people that are doing freelancing or making some 1099 income on the side, is they don't set aside money for estimated taxes. When you work for an employer, one good thing is that if you fill out your forms right, taxes are taken out of your paycheck. When you get income for doing freelancing work or 1099 work, taxes aren't taken out. Then surprise, surprise, when you file your taxes, guess what? You've got to pay not only federal and state tax, but you have to pay your self-employment tax. So that's a huge mistake people make when they start a business.
Yeah, but you can. If you get hit your first year, you get a really nice tax return.
Well, yeah. But
you know what to write off. Look, I'm going to give at the end of today, I've got a list of about 80 tax deductions for people that start a business if they know what they're doing and they know how to write it off. But many people don't know what to write off, or they don't write anything off, and they don't pay taxes, and they get hammered the first year that they file.
That's why you need Oxygen Financial or really, really, really smart CPA.
Yeah, smart guys like us and know how to do it.
Yeah, there's some good stuff you can write off that people have no idea about.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, okay.
I wrote off a spray tan once. I won't even get into what I did, but I did it.
You can write that off. You can write that off for this business, Doug.
It's appearance, baby.
Yeah, it's appearance.
I got to look good.
All right, fourth mistake
Jason,
people make.
Fourth mistake is a big one, is get it in writing, Jason. People don't have legal agreements. A lot of people that start a business get the handshake agreement. Steve, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out down the road. Let's just get the ball rolling, and then we'll figure it. No, it doesn't work that way. Whatever you do, whatever you contract somebody, you get a partner or whatever it is, you got to sign legal agreements, because whatever's in writing, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Did that go bad for you?
Yeah, you have no idea.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing. I am.
You know what? I said laugh.
I know, I don't want to say anything.
Through my tears. Laugh through my tears.
Those jalapeno poppers flew off the shelf?
Yeah, my tilapia burritos didn't work either, and I don't know why.
How was your partnership?
What? God. All I can say is I'm a good, honest person. I'm just a horrible businessman.
And where did that get you?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That guy that everybody wants to come after.
What happens when you try to please everybody?
Yeah.
Where does that get you?
Nowhere. You get used by everybody. I love people that post up and go, I really miss working for him. I'm like, yeah, but you miss stealing from me.
Get a big size 14 right up in there.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, what's the fifth mistake people make as upstart entrepreneurs?
Well, this is a big one, Jason, and I see it a lot, is people give away equity in their company too early. When you build a business, obviously you want it to make you money so you can take care of your family.
Yeah.
But the real reason a lot of people build a business is one day that you hope to sell it. And so a lot of times when new employees are start for a company, people will give away, hey, Jason, here's 2% of the company. Steve, here's 3% of the company. Before you know it, you've given up 30, 40, 50% of the company. Your real cash out will happen down the road when you sell the business.
Yeah, you have to wait on that.
Here's my question for you. So I'm sure that there's numerous people listening to us right now, and they're listening to you, Ted, and they're saying, okay, Oxygen Financial, this makes a lot of sense. But what if I don't have, let's say I'm paycheck to paycheck. Let's say, I'm just talking about in generic terms.
Which so many people are.
So many people.
Hell, people in this room.
So you're living paycheck to paycheck, right? But you're creative and you have these ideas, and you hear about all these people that are able to start these businesses and get a second form of income with low capital or no capital at all. What would you tell the guy that's working for a landscaping company right now that says, you know what, I can do it better. I've got a better business plan. I've got my own client list because I can take these people and I want to go off on my own, but I don't have the money to get a truck. I don't have the money to get my own equipment. So what do I do? do?
Yeah, so you've got 3 ways that you can do it. One is you got a great small business website out there called Cabbage. It's not, let's start with a C, it starts with a K, Cabbage.
Ooh, that's tricky.
And you can get small business loans on there. They're probably one of the biggest online small business lenders that are out there today. There's a ton of crowdfunding out there. One of the biggest ones is called Kickstarter, where you can actually try and raise money. If you're going to start a food truck, they actually have specialty crowdfundings for things like food trucks. And you'd be surprised that there's probably a dozen to 20 websites where you can crowdfund and get people to.
But are they legit? Are you being overcharged on your interest?
No, I mean, Kickstarter's legit. You know, they're legit sites. There are some that are not legit. We could tell you which are right and which are not right.
Yeah.
Or, Jason, you bootstrap it. You know, you start the thing out of your house like a lot of people do. The guys at Apple did it and many other businesses that started out of their garage. You know, you don't get the big overhead of rent and things like that.
I did a garage business.
Start your business as you bootstrap it and take it one step at a time before you leave your job.
That's a trendy thing because, you know, just as the guy that's trying to start his own landscaping company is trying to, you know, make a different form of income, a second form of income, or go off on his own, there are people that have a few dollars but can't risk a lot of money to invest in something. So that's a trendy thing right now on the internet where you go to these different websites or these apps and then you take points or a percentage of these companies, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, consider this, if you're paycheck to paycheck right now, Jason, you know, you don't have to go full-fledged into a business tomorrow. If you've got an idea, you keep your day job and then maybe spend 5 or 10 hours a week. And I've done this before in multiple businesses to get a small business going until you test it, you figure out what works and what doesn't work, and then you figure out how to scale it, right? A lot of people get into a business, they want this thing to do $1 million tomorrow, but you start off slow, figure out how the model works, then you figure out how to scale it. And that, for guys paycheck to paycheck, is a great way to get started.
That's good. All right. And they can get all this information on your website, right?
Not only can you get the information about the mistakes you make as a business owner, but these tax deductions for anyone who's getting 1099 or has an LLC, go to our website, oxygenfinancial.net. Our staff will get you out these 80 business tax deductions. Take a look at them. You don't need to pay more than the IRS than you have to. 2
locations, Alpharetta and in Buckhead. And if you are at the Buckhead location for Oxygen Financial late at night when everything's closed, feel free to stand in front of the window of Oxygen Financial and watch tennis on the big screen.
Yeah, that in the Premier League. We play that a lot.
I'm glad you keep the television on. I actually thought you were there the other night.
I was watching it Saturday night. I'm standing out there on the road and
you see the TV right there in Buckhead.
We parked over at the Whole Foods and I'm like, damn, Ted left his TV on. Let me take a picture and Facebook it to him at 1 o'clock in the morning.
If you meet at the end of the day, we'll go to the club at Chops and get a cocktail, right?
You're paying, sir. You're paying. All right, Ted Jenkin, thank you